Most men are trying to attract women with tactics, clever lines, fancy clothes, rehearsed confidence. They follow all the tips. They mirror her body language. They even memorize conversation hacks. But here's the truth most won't tell you. 99% of men get attraction wrong because they focus on the surface. Attraction doesn't start with tactics. It starts with energy. Women don't fall for what you say. They fall for how you make them feel. And how you make them feel depends entirely on how you feel about yourself. The moment you need her validation, her attention, her affection, she feels that need. And neediness repels. Stoicism flips the script. The Stoic man doesn't chase. He attracts by being. He knows who he is, what he stands for, and where he's going. He doesn't seek to impress, because his life is impressive. He's rooted in self-respect. And that energy, that grounded presence, that's what women crave. This is your ultimate guide to attraction. But we're not talking surface level here. We're going deep into the psychology, the energy, and the Stoic principles that make women chase you. Let's break the biggest myth first. Just be confident. That's what every dating coach says. And while confidence matters, it's not the foundation. Because if that confidence is fake, if it's performative, women will sense it instantly. They'll smile politely and disappear. Confidence without emotional control is just noise. True confidence isn't loud. It's quiet. It's calm. It's presence. And presence is built from emotional discipline. The Stoic man doesn't need to speak a lot. He doesn't need to dominate a room. He's confident in silence. He's at peace with stillness. He's not performing. He's being. And that's why people lean in. That's why women pay attention. Your confidence becomes real when it's not tied to outcome. When it's not shaken by rejection. When it's not inflated by compliments or deflated by criticism. Stoic confidence is rooted in purpose, not praise. And when you embody that, you stop trying to impress, because you are impressive. Presence is your superpower. Think about it. Most people aren't present. They're distracted, anxious, checking their phone, thinking about what to say next. And women feel that. They feel when you're not grounded, when your mind is elsewhere, when you're not with them. But when you're fully present, when your attention is steady, when your energy is grounded, you stand out like a lighthouse in a storm. You don't need lines. You don't need gimmicks. You're not trying to get anything. You're simply there. And that stillness, that calm intensity, it pulls her in. Presence comes from self-trust, from knowing that you don't have to perform, that you don't need to fill every silence, that you're enough, as you are. So next time you're with her, stop trying to be impressive. Just be. Listen more. Speak less. Breathe deeply. That presence is more seductive than anything you could ever say. If you're ready to become the man 99% of guys will never be, subscribe and hit the bell. Because what's coming next will change how women see you. Let's talk about emotional independence. The hidden foundation of irresistible energy. Most men aren't emotionally independent. Their mood rises and falls based on how she responds. If she texts back fast, they're on a high. If she pulls away, they spiral. This is not attraction. This is dependence. And dependence kills desire. The Stoic man is self-contained. His emotional state doesn't hinge on her attention. He doesn't ride the emotional roller coaster. He walks steady, grounded, unmoved. That doesn't mean he's cold. It means he's centered. When you don't need her to feel good, she starts to crave your energy. Because it's rare. Because it's safe. Because it doesn't pull or beg. It invites. Emotional independence doesn't mean you don't care. It means you're whole, with or without her. And when she feels that, she starts to lean in. She starts to invest. She starts to chase. Most men lose the game before it even begins, because they lead with approval seeking. They laugh too quickly. They agree too easily. They shapeshift to match what they think she wants. But here's the truth. The moment you try to be who she wants, she loses interest. Not because you're not enough, but because you've betrayed yourself. The Stoic man leads with authenticity. He's not afraid to disagree. He's not afraid to say no. He's not rude. He's real. And that realness, that unapologetic truth, it's electric. Attraction is rooted in polarity, indifference. And when you erase your edges to gain approval, you kill that polarity. You become safe, predictable, boring. So stop asking, will she like me? Start asking, am I being true to myself? Because when you show up rooted in who you are, without trying to fit a mold, the right women will feel it, and they won't want to look away. Let's break another myth. Make her feel special. Sounds sweet, right? But here's the twist. Most men try to make her feel special by losing themselves in the process. They overgive, overcompensate, overpraise. And she feels it. Not as love, but as pressure. Why? Because it's not coming from strength. It's coming from need. And need is heavy. It pulls on her energy. It makes her feel responsible for your emotional state. That's not attraction. That's emotional labor. The Stoic man flips the script. He makes her feel special by being solid in himself. He doesn't compliment her to gain favor. He compliments her when it's true and expects nothing in return. He doesn't overextend to win her attention. He gives from overflow, not emptiness. When you treat her well, not because you're hoping for something, but because that's who you are, she relaxes. She opens. She feels safe. Because you're not trying to take, you're offering from a full cup. This is how you shift from trying to impress to becoming impressive by nature. You stop chasing, and she starts wondering why she can't stop thinking about you. True attraction isn't built on performance. It's built on presence. And presence doesn't come from overthinking every move. It comes from self-alignment. The most attractive man isn't the one trying to impress. It's the man who's already impressed with the life he's creating. Let's be honest. Most men are disconnected from themselves. They're constantly thinking, what should I say next? Is she losing interest? How do I keep her attention? That's a man in reaction mode. And reaction mode is weak. But the Stoic man? He's not performing. He's simply being. And that state of being, rooted in purpose, integrity, and emotional stability, is what creates gravitational pull. When a woman senses that you're not trying to earn her validation, she starts to question, why is he so calm? Why isn't he chasing like the others? What makes him so self-assured? And that curiosity turns into fascination. Because the truth is, women want to feel your life force. They want to sense that you're building something meaningful, that your world is full, with or without them, that your happiness doesn't rise or fall based on whether or not she texts back. This is what creates power. Not loudness, not charm, but centeredness. When you walk into a room with the calm confidence of a man on a mission, you shift the entire dynamic. You're no longer the one seeking connection. You become the one worth connecting to. She leans in. She starts investing. And not because you tried to sell yourself, but because you had the courage to stand still in your own power. The Stoic man is not a performer. He's a presence. And that's what she'll remember long after you've walked away. In today's world, most men are easily thrown off by rejection, indifference, or silence. A woman doesn't reply fast enough, and they spiral. She seems a little cold, and they overthink everything. They send 3 texts in a row, trying to fix the vibe. But what they don't realize is this. Her test is not verbal, it's emotional. And the man who passes is the one who doesn't flinch. A Stoic man treats silence as neutral. He doesn't panic when there's space. He understands that not every moment needs to be filled, and not every interaction needs to be pursued. If she pulls back, he doesn't chase. He mirrors, calmly, without ego, without resentment. He lets her feel his absence. This is where true attraction begins. In the contrast between noise and silence, attention and distance, comfort and uncertainty. The Stoic man knows that when he pulls back with purpose, he creates curiosity. And curiosity is the seed of obsession. She'll wonder, is he losing interest? Is he talking to someone else? Did I do something wrong? That's when the dynamic shifts. That's when you become the mystery she can't ignore. But here's the thing. It only works if it's real. You're not pretending to be detached. You are detached. Not from her as a person, but from the outcome. You've stopped needing to control how things unfold. You're grounded in your mission. You're fine whether she stays or goes. And paradoxically, that's what makes her want to stay even more. True power isn't in how much you can make her feel. It's in how little you need her feelings to validate you. Let's talk about energy leaks. The subtle ways most men give their power away without even knowing it. Energy leaks happen every time you overthink a text, wait anxiously for her reply, or obsess over her opinion of you. You think you're being attentive, but she feels your inner chaos, and it turns her off. Why? Because women are biologically wired to seek stability. She doesn't just hear your words, she scans your nervous system. If your energy is unstable, she doesn't feel safe. Not consciously, but deeply. A Stoic man doesn't leak energy. He doesn't overinvest in uncertainty. He holds his frame. That means when she pulls back, he doesn't chase. When she tests, he doesn't panic. When she's emotional, he stays grounded. This kind of containment, emotional, energetic, psychological, is rare. And rare is magnetic. Most men are leaking energy all day long. You become the one who holds it. You become the eye of the storm. Attraction is not just about what you give her. It's about what you withhold, not out of manipulation, but out of mastery. Because when your energy is contained, when your emotions are centered, you don't need to impress. You are impressive, and she'll feel it, even in your silence. Let's talk about something every high-value man understands. The power of emotional detachment. Not coldness, not indifference. Detachment. Most men are emotionally entangled. The moment she pulls back, they panic. The moment she becomes distant, they chase. The moment things feel uncertain, they flood her with attention, hoping to regain control. But here's the paradox. The more you try to control the outcome, the less control you have. The Stoic man operates differently. He is not detached from the experience, but from the result. He can enjoy a woman's company without needing it. He can desire her without depending on her. He can invest emotionally without losing his sense of self. This is what creates freedom. You're no longer performing to be chosen. You're simply showing up, being who you are, and allowing her to choose, or not. And either way, you're still good. This kind of emotional detachment is magnetic because it's rare. Most men cling. The Stoic man lets go. Not because he doesn't care, but because he doesn't need. And that difference is everything. When you stop needing her to feel complete, she feels that. And the irony? That's when she chases you. Let's talk about frame, one of the most misunderstood and misused concepts in attraction. Your frame is your inner world. It's your worldview, your standards, your values, and how you perceive reality. Most men lose women not because they're unattractive, but because they lose their frame the moment she challenges it. And she will challenge it. Not to destroy it, but to test its strength. Here's the brutal truth. If she can break your frame, she can't trust you. And if she can't trust you, she can't surrender to you. This is where most men fail. They fold at the first sign of resistance. They adjust their opinions, change their boundaries, and abandon their standards, all to keep the peace. But peace at the expense of your frame isn't peace. It's quiet submission, and women can smell it. The Stoic man holds his frame like a warrior holds his shield, not with force, but with calm confidence. He doesn't need to shout. He doesn't need to convince. His energy says, This is how I move through life. You're welcome to join, but I will not bend to be chosen. When you embody this, women feel it. She may disagree with you. She may push back. But deep down, she respects the man who won't collapse under pressure. Frame isn't about being rigid. It's about being anchored. The world can storm around you, but you stay centered. That's what makes you rare. That's what makes you magnetic. And that's what makes you the kind of man she can follow. Let's get real about emotional availability. You've heard two extremes. On one end, men who overshare, who treat every conversation like a therapy session, constantly unpacking their feelings, hoping it'll build connection. On the other end, men who go full Stonewall, cold, silent, emotionally absent, thinking it makes them alpha. Both are wrong. Both are unattractive. What's truly magnetic is controlled vulnerability. That's what 99% of men get wrong. See, it's not about being closed off. It's about having emotional depth without needing to be understood. The Stoic man can access his emotions, but they don't spill over. He chooses when to share, and he does so from strength, not from need. That's the difference. When you speak from grounded emotion, when you reveal just enough without seeking pity or praise, you become unforgettable. You're not emotional for validation. You're emotional with precision. That's what she feels. That's what she respects. Because here's what women crave but rarely articulate. A man who feels deeply, but remains in control. It's this paradox that makes her obsessed. She sees you're layered. She senses the depth. But she knows you'll never hand it over too easily. That restraint is what keeps her chasing, wondering, investing. This isn't about playing games. It's about living from the core. And when you live like that, you stop expressing to impress and start connecting without even trying. There's one thing that separates men who spark momentary attraction from those who linger in her mind for weeks. It's not looks. It's not money. It's not charm. It's emotional pacing. Here's what most men get wrong. They rush the emotional process. They try to force connection. They overshare too soon. They smother her with attention. They want a deep bond. Now. And that desperation leaks through every word, every text, every gesture. But the Stoic man? He paces the connection like a seasoned strategist. He doesn't unload his life story on the second date. He doesn't rush to define the relationship. He doesn't need to know how she feels after every interaction. He lets time and tension do the heavy lifting. Because here's the truth. Emotional pacing builds anticipation. And anticipation is the lifeblood of desire. When you hold just enough back, when you allow her to miss you, when you let the silence between texts stretch just a little longer, she starts to feel something most men never generate. Emotional gravity. She leans in. She obsesses. She replays conversations. And suddenly, you're in her head without even being in the room. This isn't manipulation. This is artful restraint. This is allowing space for her feelings to breathe and deepen. It's understanding that mystery isn't about hiding who you are. It's about revealing yourself in layers. Pace the connection, and you control the rhythm of attraction. And when you control the rhythm, you control the frame. Attraction isn't a game. It's not manipulation. It's not about trying to impress or outsmart her. It's about one thing: who you are when the world isn't watching. Most men are performers. They wear masks. They adjust their behavior based on what they think she wants. But every time you betray your authenticity to gain approval, you lose power. And over time, you lose yourself. The Stoic man walks a different path. He doesn't need to win her. He doesn't hope for attraction. He embodies it. Every move he makes is rooted in inner conviction. Every word he speaks reflects a man who knows who he is and isn't afraid to be alone if others don't align. That's the secret the 99% never learn. Because attraction isn't about adding things to yourself. It's about stripping away the noise. It's about removing the desperation the neediness, the emotional chaos, until what remains is the clearest version of your masculine essence. When you stop chasing, when you stop performing, and when you start leading with purpose and emotional clarity, that's when women feel you. That's when you become unforgettable. So if you've made it this far, understand this. You don't need to become attractive. You need to return to who you were before the world told you to doubt yourself. That man, he's already enough. Now it's time the world, and she, sees him too. If you found value in this, subscribe and hit the bell. You won't want to miss what's coming next. This is Marble Masculinity. Stay grounded, stay clear, stay unforgettable. If you're ready to become the man 99% of guys will never be, subscribe and hit the bell, because what's coming next will change how women see you.